Wayne Allen Roots, the Warrior, USA Radio, broadcasting from my wonderful adopted hometown, Las Vegas, Nevada. Hometown of 20 years now, which is basically shut down. The Vegas Strip is a ghost town. Who'd have believed this? A month ago, 2 months ago, if you said somebody, the Vegas Strip will be shut down. There'll be no cars, no traffic, no people, no crowds, no nothing. There'll be tumbleweeds flying through it, tumbling through it. And all the hotels will be shut down, and all of their lobbies will be boarded up with wood. And then in front of their driveways, there'll be the security bullocks, and behind them will be guys with guns. So you can't get on the property. Who would have believed that would be Las Vegas? That's a movie. That's a stupid Hollywood movie with Vegas under a pandemic shutdown. That's real life today in America. Thank God, with only 60,000 expected to die now. That's a good thing. I'm glad I was right, and I'm thrilled in celebrating the numbers. Everyone should celebrate the numbers. Doesn't the liberal media want to celebrate the numbers? They're down. All right, here's something else to celebrate. Our sponsor is Strauss Heart Drops. Everybody knows I'm Mr. Health, right? And I want all of my millions of fans to be healthy and live a long life so we can save America, American exceptionalism, and capitalism. And I am Mr. Health. I pop 100 vitamin pills a day, and I work out like a maniac, and I eat healthy food, and I'm non-gluten and keto diet, and I haven't been sick in 20 years. Are you in front of a mirror? Because I'm going to tell you something that's really kind of shocking. Strauss Heart Drops says get in front of a mirror. Because in 1973, a Harvard doctor discovered the greatest single risk factor indicator for heart disease is a crease in one or both earlobes. I never heard that ever before. I didn't know it. Strauss Heart Drops have helped countless people over the past 40 years with cholesterol, diabetes, angina, and blocked restricted blood flow. They've sold about 1 million bottles of their Strauss Heart Drops, but almost all of them in Canada. And now they're selling it here in America, right here on the Wayne Elliott Show. And I'm greatly honored and proud to have them advertise on the show. The best proven indicator, they say, of clogged arteries is the earlobe crease, nature's sign of trouble with plaque buildup. Do you have a crease in one or both ears? Go in the mirror and look. Just look at your earlobe. Is there a crease? Strauss Heart Drops don't interfere with any prescription drugs. Strauss guarantees your satisfaction, so you can't go wrong. It's the painless, natural, economical way to clear arteries, vessels, veins, and capillaries. So don't wait for a heart attack or stroke. It might be too late. And by the way, guess who has a crease in both ears? Mr. Health. Wayne Elliott has a crease in both ears. And guess who's now taking Strauss Heart Drops? Wayne Elliott. Order Strauss Heart Drops at thepowermall.com. That's thepowermall.com. Thepowermall.com. Click on Strauss Heart Drops and get, my opinion is, get the cinnamon variety. Tastes better. Strauss Heart Drops. Now, we've got a guest here who is Mr. Strauss Heart Drops. His name is Wayne. You put two Waynes together, it's Wayne I. It's Wayne Elliott and Wayne Root. It's the Wayne team. And he's a natural health expert, a student of Jim Strauss Sr., and he says his life was saved by Strauss Heart Drops. And you can find more information at StraussNaturals.com. And, of course, now you know, you can purchase it at thepowermall.com. Wayne Elliott in Canada right now, in quarantine in Canada, because he just got back from the United States, and you got to spend 14 days in quarantine. So he has got, 9 days to go, Wayne?
That's right, Wayne, 9 more days.
Are you climbing up walls?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing my grandbabies again and niece and nephews and the rest of the family, so I'm starting to, Wayne. I'm keeping pretty busy here working at home, but lots of radio appearances and so forth, so I'm lucky that I have lots to do, but I'm getting anxious.
Yeah, he made a live one with me. Wayne came in studio here about, 3 weeks ago, was it, or a month ago? No, it was probably a month ago. And the world has changed. Think of how the world has changed since you were in my studio. We didn't know that the whole country was going to be shut down, nor your country would be shut down. Who would have imagined this would ever happen? Vegas was wide open and busy when you were here, right? The Strip was jammed when you were here, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had trouble finding a quiet place to do a couple of other radio shows when I was there, but I'll tell you, I'm grateful to see. They say the highest death rate day is likely to be April 29th. The experts are saying from the information they've gathered so far. I watched an interesting video today from a Montana 30-year experienced medical doctor, and she titled her speech to how COVID-19 is allowing death certificates to be manipulated. And she went through a very thorough explanation, and it's almost like the catch-all. And she knows for a fact herself that some people that are their cause of death is being called coronavirus that weren't even tested, so it wasn't even verified they were infected. And she said, "I'll tell you another thing. There's a big difference between dying with coronavirus and dying from coronavirus." And in her opinion, the numbers are likely terribly skewed. And when you look at the numbers, the actual percentage of the death rate, Wayne, it's in my opinion, it isn't. I don't think much higher than many other influenzas. And I believe I had it before I came to see you, late December, early January.
Well, I'm glad you didn't give it to me.
Well, me too. And yeah, I would hate to give it to anyone, but. It sure makes you wonder, and I've most of my angst, Wayne, in the last couple of months, and I've done a lot of reading and arithmetic and so forth. Is this whole business with China? This virus started there, just like the last two that killed hundreds of thousands of people, H1N1 and SARS. And 90 days, the arithmetic says 90 days from the time of their outbreak until they informed the World Health Organization. I just watched your President Trump criticizing the WHO and the fact that America gives the World Health Organization over $400 million a year by average. China gives an average $40 million.
Wow.
So I hope your president, he's the only one I've got faith in, the President Trump will start to bring the world in proper order again. And I don't know, Wayne, they're communists. They were our historical, they were the historical enemy to democracy. I don't know, they were a closed society forever. Their citizens can't vote like you and I. They can't even talk like you and I. They might go missing, like the doctor who tried to report this 60 days in. He went missing, he was dead. So these people live the opposite to our lives. Their value system is very different. And I got huge angst that they're the economic engine of the world now, and we're buying all their junk. So I'm just saying my prayers, this creates awareness for people. I spent a lot of time on the radio and on Facebook and social media talking about this, that let's wake up. Our grandfathers are rolling in their graves, and let's get the world back in proper order. And why would we ever trust them? They've cheated, Wayne. They've made oil country pipe and tube, sent it here, found some outfit willing to relabel it to call it American pipe, and it wasn't discovered till it failed on the job. 10 years ago, they took all the world's lead-based paint because it was outlawed everywhere. Great paint, but it was outlawed. It came back to America painting kids' toys. They steal technology. I've had a lot to do with the Chinese. I know they've stolen so much technology. Their country is an environmental cesspool. They've got rivers that are colored. The air is yellow. I just don't get it. Why would we trust any product that comes from there? And my money's on your president to straighten this out, and I believe he will. I believe he will. They should be held accountable for starting this, not letting the world know. I think they should pay the world's tab for this, Wayne. You're talking about trillions of dollars here.
I agree. The problem is, Wayne, and then we'll get off politics and on to Strauss Heart Drops, because I know we want to talk a little bit about the product that you've got. But the problem is, how do you enforce it? I think they owe the tab to the entire world, and they should pay America's bill and Canada's bill and Europe's bill. But you would bankrupt China, and China would go to war in order to not pay that bill, and we'd have World War III, and millions of people would die. I don't think
they'd go to war. Anybody would be a fool to declare war on the United States of America today, and the United States has some pretty strong allies like Great Britain and much of the rest of the free world. I think, and I doubt that this certainly isn't politically correct, I'd cut off their interest and principal payments on loans from everywhere in the world until the tab was paid. And I'd put high tariffs on their goods. And if we want to make America and Canada great again, because if you think you guys have lost manufacturing to China, we're almost renters in our own country here in Canada, and everything comes from them. Let's make North America great again, build factories, employ our own people, have jobs for good immigrants that want to work, and that's how I think we'll do it, Wayne. We're not going to Geez, for the sake of saving money, look what we've done. We've done.
I think we need to run Wayne Elliott against Trudeau. That's what I think. Justin Trudeau's an idiot, and I'd like Wayne Elliott to be
I'd do it. If I wasn't
you'd be good. I think you'd win. I like your campaign rhetoric. It's good stuff, man. I like it. It's all beautiful. And by the way, I wrote the column that was a big hit late last week about how to get even with China. And I said, first of all, forget tariffs for a minute. Don't even let their clothing products in the United States. Don't even let them in. Tell them from now on, if it says made in China, you can't come in the United States. And then tell the American people for all the other products they've got, electronics and TVs and computers, just find some other country. If it's made in America, if it's made in Canada, if it's made in Bulgaria, if it's made in Argentina, if it's made in Mexico, I don't care. Buy anything but made in China. Tell them we got to punish China and no longer ask the American people to no longer buy anything that says made in China. And then number 3, I added after the fact, yes, we owe them a lot of money, right? They literally think we owe them $2 trillion. Tell them it's now canceled. Just cancel it. And candidates do the same thing. And send them a bill for everything that happened here. I like everything you said, Wayne. I do. Stay with us. USA Radio. Wayne Elliott. I've just nominated Wayne Elliott to run against Justin Trudeau for Prime Minister of Canada. He's a natural health expert, a student of Jim Strauss Jr. Jim Strauss Sr. I keep saying Jr. I don't know why. Jim Strauss Sr., who was the original founder of Strauss Heart Drops. He says his life was saved by Strauss Heart Drops. And you can find out more information at StraussNaturals.com. And you could purchase your Strauss Heart Drops at thepowermall.com. ThePowerMall.com. And we've been talking about the fact that Wayne Elliott is a businessman in Canada and has done a lot of business with Chinese and does not trust them, does not like them being in control of the whole world here. And this is what happens when you trust them. It's bad news. And so now we want to talk a little bit about Strauss Heart Drops before we finish up the interview. We never had a chance to do that. We talked politics for the first segment. So let's talk about the benefits of Strauss Heart Drops because it helps with cholesterol, diabetes, angina, and blocked or restricted blood flow. And the real benefit of Strauss Heart Drops, the main ingredient, is aged garlic extract, which you guys say is the single best natural substance for our immune system. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, there's nothing better, Wayne, than aged garlic extract. It's been known for generations, and it happens to be the main ingredient in the heart drops. Ironically, those heart drops were made by Jim Strauss Sr. and his son Peter for Jim after a massive heart attack and 5 blocked arteries. I guess it's no surprise that the aged garlic extract was a main ingredient and a very heart-healthy and immune-supportive natural substance. And the heart drops really work safely, chemically free, and 100% safe. They work like Drano works on our bathroom sink and bathtub pipes, Wayne, to clear clogs. Well, the Strauss Heart Drops, naturally, chemical-free, 100% safely, dissolve the plaque and cholesterol from our main arteries right down to the tiniest capillaries that go to your skin. So some people have blue-gray lips or bluish-grayish skin. That's circulation. Diabetics, circulation's their biggest issue. They can lose their toes, their feet, their legs, their eyesight, and they do suffer some terrible pain as well. They can. And, of course, people with clogged arteries, the study you mentioned back in 1973, well, I read that. I guess it was probably 5 years. I was suffering angina. I developed an irregular heartbeat. I had high blood pressure. And I read this, and, I never did any investigating. And I've wondered about myself many times, Wayne. I was never really in favor of pharmaceuticals. It didn't seem right to me, but I never researched anything at all. And what I did do was make plans to be the youngest Elliott to check out from heart disease. And that's the God's truth. I gave things to my sons and got ready to die. So I figure I was, made to stay here and talk about this.
And Wayne, how many years ago was this that you had the heart problems and you thought you were going to die?
23 years ago is when I started on Strauss Heart Drops at age 43, and I wasn't well after age 35, Wayne. I had an attack in my front yard at one of my son's birthday parties. We used to have football catching contests and stuff with all the neighborhood kids. and bang, down I went. I didn't see anything but white. I don't know if it was 30 seconds or a minute and a half. And when my sight came back, there was no pain, and I got up, and I never did anything about it. But the angina, I had all the angina symptoms, pinches in the chest, night sweats, leg cramps, excuse me, shortness of breath, and read this about Harvard, had 2 deep creases, and one in each earlobe. So I was clogged on both sides of my body. And like everyone else I've ever talked to that's taken Strauss Heart Drop since, the first thing that most people feel is increased energy. Well, the first thing I got was the hearing return to my left ear after 2 weeks, and I was just blown away that had anything to do with cholesterol. Later on, I stopped wearing eyeglasses for about 5 years because macular degeneration, for example, which doctors say is eventual blindness, it's cholesterol, Wayne. And we had many people here, instead of losing their eyesight, got rid of their magnifying glasses. So this cholesterol and decreased, blocked, or restricted blood flow, something will go wrong. It has to. It's like fuel or oil for your vehicle or your tractor. Cut off one of those lubricants or fuels, and the tractor stops. Well, our worst problems are heart attack and brain attack or stroke from lack of oxygen, from lack of blood flow, because the blood system is the only highway. We have 60,000 kilometers of veins and vessels and arteries in our body. Hard to believe. Twice around the earth in our body. And that's because blood has to go to every single cell in our body for us to maintain health. Now, so it's just the best thing I've ever seen by far. And when it comes to any kind of circulation issues, Strauss Heart Drops is safe. It's natural. Your satisfaction is guaranteed by the Strauss Company. You just can't go wrong, Wayne. How do you feel? You've been taking them for a month or so now, Wayne.
Well, you know that I've always been Mr. Energy, so it isn't like I've ever lacked energy, but I have even more energy now. So I could feel a little bit extra energy, but I've always been at the top of any energy scale in the first place. So it's kind of amazing. I've got even more energy. I've definitely felt it. Strauss Heart Drops at thepowermall.com, thepowermall.com, Get the cinnamon flavor. That's what I recommend. My man is Wayne Elliott. Wayne, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Wayne. And for more information, the folks can go on the internet to StraussNaturals.com. STRAUSS Naturals.com. Thanks a million. We'll talk to you next time, Wayne. Be well.